A pleasant good morning to you. It is Thursday, November the 4th. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. A leading pediatrician has given his stamp of approval for the vaccination of children in Barbados ages 5 to 11. Dr. Clyde Cave tells the Morning Report he's confident the vaccine is safe for those young ones in this age group, judging from the success of the vaccination campaigns for 12 to 18-year-olds here in Barbados, the region, and across the world. The Director of Medical Services at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital says the pros clearly outnumber the cons.
The safety of the vaccine, I think we are all reassured about. There was never really a concern of the younger children about the safety as much as the efficacy and the dose. Right. And worldwide, that seems to be being resolved. The Pfizer vaccine for the 12 to 18-year-olds has gone well in the rest of the world. Our experience here is it is also going well. But the big payoff from vaccinating children will be to allow them to safely return to school. And I think that the lack of face-to-face and social experience in classroom and in playground is something that we have tended to underestimate while we looked at death and serious illness. And also that we know that while children themselves may not be severely affected, they are infected and they're vectors that take this home. And then that puts all the other people who may be more vulnerable in the household, the aunties, the grannies, the diabetic relatives, just by using public transport for movement of children back and forth, there is going to be the potential for increased spread if there isn't that extra layer of vaccination protection.
And while Dr. Cave supports the move to vaccinate younger children, he does not mind a wait-and-see approach in this regard.
I think all things being equal and with no surprises, this is a good thing. One of the, I guess you can call it, advantages in that delay between when things happen in North America and when they percolate down to us is it gives us the opportunity to watch what happens there. And that vaccination of younger children in North America, US, Canada, wherever authorizes it and starts it, will allow us to look and to see if there are any concerns, whatever, before we actually get the vaccine and start to deliver it. So at the moment, to be honest, there are no major concerns that when the vaccine comes, there should be any problem with it. And I think it is certainly a very worthwhile strategy for us to actively work towards.
Meanwhile, we hear that Barbados and other small nations may soon have another COVID vaccine to choose from. The World Health Organization has issued an emergency use listing for India's Covaxin vaccine against COVID-19. The United Nations Health Agency says the jab is extremely suitable for low and middle income countries due to the ease of storage requirements.
More than 10% of vaccinated Indians have taken the Covaxin jab. WHO approval means their inoculation against COVID-19 is more likely to be accepted in other countries. Shahid Jamil is a virologist and fellow at University of Oxford's Green Templeton College. He says he's not sure if the move's a game changer for vaccinations worldwide.
It's not very clear at this time whether it's going to really benefit the COVAX program, which the WHO set up for supplying vaccines to low and middle income countries. Just to be clear, India has exported a little over 60 million doses of vaccine this year, out of which, roughly 20 million doses have gone to the COVAX program. But what is not clear is how much of that was Covaxin and how much was Covishield. It certainly is going to help India's export to other countries, commercial exports. There are already agreements between the company Bharat Biotech And several countries, Argentina, for example, has booked 10 million doses of this vaccine. There were some agreements being talked about with Hungary. Countries like Mauritius, Iran, they have received this vaccine. So yes, it will help some other countries, but I don't know whether it's really going to be a game changer at this point.
Up next are COVID-19 updates. Local authorities are reporting an additional 7 COVID-19 related deaths here in Barbados, 3 men and 4 women being recorded between Tuesday and yesterday. The deceased are all Barbadians. 4 of them died on Tuesday, 2 women ages 62 and 91 who were isolated at the Harrison's Point and Queen's College isolation facilities, and 2 men ages 72 and 81 who passed away while in isolation at the Blackman and Gollop and Queen's College isolation facilities. They were all unvaccinated. Meanwhile, a 61-year-old fully vaccinated man and 2 women ages 33 and 53 who were both unvaccinated died at the Harrison Point isolation facility yesterday. As a result, the number of people who have succumbed to the virus has now reached 167. Let's look at the local numbers now. Meanwhile, 393 new cases of COVID-19 were discovered by the Best dos Santos Public Health Lab after it conducted a total of 1,966 tests on Tuesday. There were 168 males and 225 females in that number. And of this number, 88 were under the age of 18. There are now 797 people in isolation facilities and 5,845 people in home isolation. The Minister of Health and Wellness over the Bahamas, Dr. Michael Darville, says there will be no nightly curfew when the current state of emergency expires. The Bahamas has been in a state of emergency since March last year.
With our plan, you're beginning to see changes where the numbers are falling. It's very important to understand that we're trying to regulate COVID-19 via rules by way of the Health Services Act through amendments to Section 29.
The former administration introduced a nightly curfew in March 2020 as a mitigation measure against COVID-19. Public health measures like mask wearing and limiting social events will remain in place, but curfews will not.
This is a new way. It is very well laid out, but I want to let the country know that the rules are very fluid. As the cases begin to rise, and God forbid it doesn't, we will have to make additional adjustments to those rules.
Now, vaccinated people entering St. Vincent and the Grenadines no longer have to quarantine in an approved hotel or guest house. This move took effect on October the 30th. Health Promotions Officer there, Shanika John, says entry protocols, however, will still apply.
You have to be fully vaccinated for at least 2 weeks prior to your travel date.
Okay.
So even if you got your last dose or your first dose of the vaccine yesterday and your next travel is tomorrow, you're not exempted from that requirement because of the time frame. So that's also important to consider. If you're not vaccinated, then you would fall in what is called a high risk, medium risk, and a low risk. And that would raise some quarantine measures depending on where you're coming from. So if you are coming from a high-risk country and you're fully vaccinated, medium risk or low risk, you do not get to quarantine. You're still required to come with a test. And I know a lot of persons have been asking about the may in our protocol, may be tested, may be quarantined. And that's really at the discretion of the port health officers at the time of the assessment. It doesn't mean that you come in at the airport, at our seaports, and you just walk free. You're still being assessed by our officers.
They're supposed to enforce the curfew and root out illegal gatherings, but 7 police officers in Belize are being investigated for allegedly hosting their own social events over the weekend during the curfew hours. Reports are the group of off-duty officers was congregating at a nightclub and restaurant, consuming alcohol when a team of officers on patrol confronted them. Communications Director Fitzroy Yearwood says the matter is one the police commissioner will not tolerate.
I was very surprised that our officers believe that they can be in a situation public like this, doing whatever they were doing. And like I said, it will be viewed, it will be looked at by Professional Standards Branch. They have to investigate it. And I am certain that when I contact the commander of Division 2, Mr. Cinquez Martinez, I am certain that he has already tasked his people to do his own investigation. And our findings will be made public because we need to send a strong message to the general public that this is not the way that the police department operates.
Time now to go over to Pearson to hear what he has planned for you on the Thursday edition of Morning Barbados. How is it looking, Pearson?
Good morning, Shane. Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, but today we'll also take some time to remember our good friend and colleague Dennis Johnson. Just a little bit of time this morning. It's Thursday, so it's also Exceptional Youth Thursday. We'll meet a former student of the Alexandra School who has just formed her own business, and so she's providing a whole host of beauty products. We'll also meet a former student of, wait for it, Coleridge and Parry School, who has begun to build a name for herself in film making. We'll talk to her about her journey thus far. But we'll also meet a young female attorney at law out of Guyana, who is now a part of the Femlets cohort. What does that mean for her? How does she become a part of it? Those are some of the young people who we'll meet this morning, right here on Morning Barbados at 6:30. It's back to you, Shane.
Thank you, Pearson. And as we celebrate Barbados' move to a republic, CBC starts a new program. You'll find out all about it in a moment. As some people in some quarters question the timing of Barbados' move to a republic, a senior diplomat is responding, saying it's long overdue. Barbados' Deputy High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Reverend Charles Morris, puts the issue into perspective in a CBC News production titled The Diaspora Speaks, the Barbados Republic, which the first in our four-part series airs tonight during CBC News Night. Here's a look.
I don't think we should be asking the question why now. It's why not now? Because it is the time. It is time that we should be. You imagine others came and they got there and they set up their Republican system, this system of government before us, and we were the first that started. Okay? So it is necessary.
And that's just a preview of what's to come in the series. In the lead up to Republic Day, you'll get to hear the voices of Barbadians in the diaspora as they share their views on the move to a republic. Now, the body of a man who was reported missing earlier this week was discovered yesterday when it washed ashore at Tent Bay in St. Joseph. More of this report from Aaliyah Briggs.
Police at the District F police station are carrying out investigations into the discovery of a body of a naked man which washed ashore at Tent Bay St. Joseph earlier today. Police spokesperson, Acting Station Sergeant Michael Blackman, told CBC News that police received reports of the sighting of a body around 10 this morning.
Police at District F received reports of the sighting of a naked body of a man laying among the rocks at Tent Bay Beach, St. Joseph. On arrival about 11:10 a.m., police discovered the lifeless body of an adult male.
The man who was pronounced dead at the scene has been identified as 66-year-old Kenrick Welch of Waterford, St. Michael. He was reported missing by a family member on Monday. The police has asked anyone who can assist with investigations to contact police emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIPS, or the District A police station at 430-7242. Aaliyah Briggs, CBC News.
Tributes continue to flow for former broadcaster Dennis Johnson, who passed away yesterday. Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley has described him as a man of strong character who's made a phenomenal impact on the country through his broadcasting. The Prime Minister also says he was a man committed to intellectual and broadcasting honesty and excellence, and one who was not afraid to challenge the establishment and to defend the proverbial small man. Ms. Motley says Dennis loved to talk, to discuss, to argue, to share his opinion, but always with the greatest of respect for those who engaged him. According to Prime Minister Motley, he never hid behind his health challenges, which reinforced his quiet courage. In extending condolences to his family, she said that Barbados will miss his voice and his message. Now, our Wendy Burke reports on the passing of Dennis Johnson, whose death has shocked many and left tears flowing.
The importance of growing what you eat and eating what you grow.
A distinctive voice was silenced last night with the passing of Dennis Johnson, well-known talk show host, former CBC News anchor and veteran broadcaster. Johnson, who began in the media arena in 1994 with then Radiofusion, left banking and tourism behind for the microphone, where his hallmark was excellence in a media career which made him a man for all seasons, having covered from political campaigning to parliament openings, current affairs to comedy, and the list goes on. One attribute which stood out was that he was always logical and methodical. In paying tribute, Minister responsible for broadcasting, Wilfred Abrams, remembered him as a man of passion who had a flair for outside broadcast.
Dennis was passionate about his work, and this was evident. His contribution to broadcasting in Barbados is unquestioned. Dennis's wide-ranging interests and breadth of knowledge on an array of topics made him a capable and well-loved call-in host. His role as a moderator on Down to Brass Tacks is one of his most well-known media roles that endeared him to listening audience both in Barbados and abroad. As an announcer, he loved music of all genres and created programs that generated dedicated followers who praised him for his selection and arrangement of material. Dennis also had a unique way of drawing parallels and making cultural references that exposed his intimate experience of life and the vernacular of Barbados and the Caribbean. His peers have spoken glowingly of his adeptness in outside broadcasts. He showed a reliability for preparation, research, and attention to detail.
Chief Executive Officer of the CBC, Sanka Price, remembers him as a mentor and true professional who came to CBC on November 15, 2001 as an executive producer and presenter.
His death has really impacted me because he was one of the true professionals in Barbados journalism. Dennis spent 2 years at CBC in the early 2000s. But I think the real contribution that Dennis Johnson made is the fact that he was so forthright and he was fair and he was the type of person who was always approachable and he dealt with everything. So Dennis, I really will miss you and the whole CBC family will miss you.
Former CBC General Manager Dr. Alison Leacock reflected on their professional relationship.
As his colleague during my days in radio, Dennis's smooth tones often matched the music he played and the stories he told. Always a gentleman, Dennis was a deep thinker and brought that thoughtfulness to all that he did, always sharing a different perspective that we may not have considered. Broadcasting is more than a good voice. It is the ability to communicate effectively, depending on time and place, switching codes as needed, and speaking on air with an intimacy that could make you think, that broadcaster is speaking to only me. Dennis did that effortlessly with his unique cadence, care, and compassion.
Station manager at Starcom, Anthony Green, said he played an integral role in training the new call-in presenters.
We are reflecting on the excellence that Dennis brought to broadcasting. Indeed, he was a student of broadcasting. He remained teachable, yet he was so knowledgeable as well, and was very, very willing to share that knowledge with so many others that he would meet, especially those coming in to media for the first time. And one of the things I admired very recently about him is how he initiated new down to brass tacks moderators.
The Barbados Association of Journalists and Media Workers, BARJAM, remembered him as a Caribbean man, having been born in Grenada but with roots in Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados. President Keith Goddard said he was the most professional broadcaster of the last 2 decades.
As a veteran broadcaster, he had a love and deep conviction for the industry and used his wide knowledge and skills developed from his work over the years across the Caribbean in banking and hospitality to always offer a word of advice to ensure professional standards were always maintained. A man of many talents, Dennis showed that he was not only able to easily engage the attention of thousands of listeners on VOB's Brass Tacks program as a talk show host, but he exhibited his passion for radio as a disc jockey, where he demonstrated his extraordinary skills and knowledge of music to a much wider audience.
He leaves to mourn his wife Joycelyn of 35 years and children Siobhan, Misha, and Justin. A man for all seasons. Rest in peace and rise in glory, Dennis Johnson. Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Over in regional news now, one of Haiti's most powerful gang leaders wants the United States to help to overthrow the current government there.
At the cost of blood, we're going to dislodge Mr. Ariel Henry from the Prime Minister's office. And afterwards, the key to the country will be handed over to a new class of men and women of civil society who will have to govern responsibly to get the country out of the quagmire in which it has been floundering for many ages.
Well, John Hendren joins us now live from Port-au-Prince. John, the gang leader there, he was quite threatening today. What else did he have to say?
Well, that right there was the most powerful gang leader in Haiti, upping the ante in what he says is a revolution against the current government. Now, the man known as Barbecue, Jimmy Cherizet, has previously said that he demands the resignation of Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Well, now he's issued the or else. He says, at the cost of blood, we will remove him and other members of this government. He says he's leading a revolution, and he did it in a rather formal way. This is a letter he wrote in French to the U.S. ambassador asking for U.S. support in this effort. Now, we asked the Prime Minister of Haiti for a response, and his office sent us a one-line response that is, Prime Minister Ariel Henry does not deal with gangs. Interestingly, this all happened in an open press conference. This former policeman known as Barbecue is one of the most wanted men in Haiti, yet he announced where he would be holding this press conference, and he was surrounded by his own armed militants in the La Saline neighborhood that he controls. Police did not make any attempt to intervene because they're simply outmanned and outgunned when it comes to going into those territories that are controlled by gangs. I should mention, this is not the gang that has held those 17 missionaries. It is a different one. But the government would say that Barbecue is a leader who has killed people, who has kidnapped people, and who is contributing to the financial collapse of this country by holding up fuel supplies that would come into the capital. They've been hijacking trucks, kidnapping drivers, and that sort of thing. So we have a political crisis here. We also have an economic crisis and a security crisis because the police simply can't control the neighborhood. So what this is a confrontation between a leader of 9 gangs, a very powerful man in Haiti, and the government. And the government says he's part of the problem because all of those actions are crippling the economy here in Haiti, hurting those poor people that he says he's trying to help, and causing children and others to die in hospitals because they can't get the diesel fuel they need to run all of the machines that operate there. So what this is an acceleration of a massive confrontation in a country that's in a worse crisis than any it's had in recent memory, and it should be said that Haiti knows crises.
In sports, West Indies captain Kyron Pollard is backing his batters to break their shackles and rediscover their form in this morning's T20 World Cup clash with Sri Lanka as the defending champs tried to keep their semi-final hope alive. The Windies are second from the bottom in Group 1, having lost 2 of their 3 Super 12 stage games, and their batsmen have failed to fire on all cylinders. Despite the uphill task to reach the next stage from a group that includes top-ranked England and South Africa, who occupy the top 2 spots, Pollard has not given up hope.
In this thing called life and in sport, nothing is impossible. What I can safely say is that, yes, the guys are confident. We knew exactly what, sort of is needed in terms of from a run rate perspective, and we'll take all things. Focus is opportunity. They are a team of cricket is representing, the Caribbean nation and the world, and trying to do, some justice to our talent and what is expected of us, as a team.
The Windies versus Sri Lanka clash is set for 10 this morning with live coverage on MCTV's ESPN Channel 308 and also on Radio 94.7 FM. Then at 9 p.m. on TV8 World Cup wrap-up show, that's where we'll analyze today's result, and of course we want to hear from you as well. You can call in to the program. Also on right now, Bangladesh versus Australia in that same group. Bangladesh losing some early wickets and are now 32 for 4. Josh Hazelwood, he's picked up 2 wickets so far, and Maxwell and Stark, they have claimed some wickets as well. So right now, Bangladesh versus Australia. Australia, they sent Bangladesh into bat and have Bangladesh in early trouble at 32 for 4 or 5.3 overs. You can watch that action on MCTV's ESPN Channel 308 as well. Time now for a look at the weather. It's 28.2 degrees Celsius on the outside. It's feeling like 30 degrees already. That's the apparent temperature. The relative humidity stands at 71%. The barometric pressure is 1013 millibars this morning, and those winds are coming out of the east at around 40 kilometers per hour. We'll see a low tide at around 3 minutes to 9 this morning. The high tide will be later in the afternoon at 7 minutes after 3. Those seas are smooth to moderate and open water swells are between 1 and 2 meters and holding steady. Today we'll have a mix of sunshine and clouds with periods of light scattered showers. And tonight it will be a mix of clear skies and clouds with the occasional intermittent scattered light to moderate shower. And here's a quick look at the international weather forecast. That's it for the Thursday edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. Mornin Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
And indeed, good morning to you, everyone. Good morning. It is Thursday, the 4th of November, 2021. That's my name. I'm Pearson Bowen, welcoming all of you everywhere. Those of you in Barbados watching us via traditional TV screens, thank you for joining us. And those of you across the globe watching us on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook streams as well, good morning. Welcome to Thursday. You know, typically on a Thursday it's exceptional youth, and so you will meet quite a few this morning, all women, interestingly enough. One of them who was part of Girls Skate Barbados. I know a number of you raise your eyebrows thinking, huh? Is that a bit dangerous for the girls? She'll talk to us a little bit about her involvement and her business, Girls Skate Barbados. But we want to start by taking some time to pay attention and to pay tribute to a man who has been a part of our broadcasting landscape for quite some time. And we thought it fitting to be able to do so still today, Thursday. And we want to start by connecting with the station manager of Starcom Network, my friend Anthony Green. Anthony, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Pearson.
Thank you so much for agreeing to come with us as we remember Dennis. Now, Dennis looms large in the business of broadcasting. In your digging and searching for information about his history thus far, what have you found that perhaps we don't yet know?
Well, it's interesting because, you know, anyone who knows Dennis knows that he's the kind of guy to wear his emotions on his sleeve, so to speak. So there is quite a lot about him and his history that we do know. And I think that's what's actually very special about Dennis, the fact that he gave of himself, who he was. So we know that he was born in Grenada, and we know he spent some time in Trinidad. He was well loved right here in Barbados, where he became a popular media personality. And these things, I think, came together in a really interesting way, in that what we saw from Dennis is that he had a great appreciation for historical events throughout the region, our music, people, culture, politics. But I tell you this, because you're asking for something that we don't know. Now, Dennis has this interesting ability to connect, and there are many of us in the media who understand the importance of connecting with your audience. And we know that he does that very well on radio. But one of the things I observed about Dennis is that he actually practices this every day. In Starcom Network, Dennis connects with everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean from the persons who are cleaning the building, persons who are answering the telephone, newsroom, the management. He takes time every day. It's almost like a routine where Dennis would just be talking to you, and he's either telling a joke and flashing that smile that we know all too well, or he's talking about the politics of the day, or Dennis is pointing out something about standards, that needs to be improved. Okay, so it is. Because when you have these times where you're missing people, you tend to reflect on the activities, and that is part of Dennis's routine, making sure that he walks through the building and he connects with people, and that's why so one of the reasons why we took it so hard, because suddenly you recognize that he is not going to be walking through the door anymore to connect with you in the various offices, and he's not going to be driving his car into his space and getting out and starting a conversation with you, but it's that ability to connect not only in the public's eye, because the measure of a man, is not limited to what he does in public, but behind closed doors, and that's one of the things that we appreciate about him.
At times like these, we also stop to reflect on the last few days, the last moments, the last conversations, the last encounters, the last everything. How would you have described Dennis? I mean, because it took us all by surprise. No one saw it coming, so to speak. How would you describe the last few days and encounters with Dennis?
They were special. They were very special. Dennis was on a project, if you want to call it that. A task, a very special task, to initiate the new hosts, the new moderators for Down to Brass Tacks. And that is an activity that he took on very seriously. And Dennis is a coach. He loves to coach. He loves to help people, and he's helped many. I think coming out of the tributes, you would hear many of the persons who've been into broadcasting saying, look, Dennis was there for me. He gave me tips. He listened to me. He showed me how to do this and how to do that. And, in the last few weeks, if you listen to Sade Jemmet speak, who's one of our new moderators, and you hear Dr. Christina Hines, they developed very close relationships with Dennis very quickly, where they appreciated the fact that he was investing in them and he was showing them the ropes on air. That was special. Now we also did a program very recently called Fighting Crime in response to some of the issues that we were experiencing here in the country around crime and violence. And it's a new program idea that we came up with. We spoke to Dennis about it. And again, just his ability to connect with the younger persons and get them on board. So one of the persons who was involved in that project was Tahir Bubulia. And if you hear Tahir speak about Dennis, again, the way he was quickly able to form that bond and be able to almost mentor Tahir through those few weeks that Tahir was hosting that program, it's just a beautiful thing to watch, because one of the best things that we can do here on this earth is to pass on our knowledge and to show younger people how to do it. That generational gap we speak about, really and truly what we need is to come alongside each other and share. And that's a special thing that we recognize here. In some of the last days you speak about, Dennis was willing to give of himself and to share what he knows.
And also his last few days, Dennis kept talking on the air about his retirement, his pending retirement. Kept saying within 6 months, I'm going to be into retirement. So for him, it meant hanging up the boots but not giving up. And it must break quite a few hearts that he never got to see his retirement. How are people at work in Starcom Network dealing with all of this?
Yesterday, today I am in a thankful place. I'm thankful for the life of Dennis, and we are reminded that we need to be thankful for each other. Yesterday, it was a pouring out of emotion. That's the truth. And even though Dennis was talking about his retirement, at Starcom Network, you retire, but you're still very much around. And those who've been working at Starcom Network, we know that you retire, but you're in touching distance. Yes. Basically, you're still part of the family. So he mentioned that quite a few times on the air. And I think one of the things he also mentioned, he made a comment, if I'm still around. And, you know, somebody says that, but you reflect on that and realize, wow, he really didn't make it. And so that pouring out of emotion was there. You know, you can say, yes, it's a sign that we're heartbroken, but when you pour out that kind of emotion for an individual, it really shows how special that person is. And, you know, this is a time now when we are experiencing a lot of death, a lot of loss around us. And some people may not have experienced that as yet, but we need to take a moment out to really understand what persons are going through. And it's a sensitive time where we need to be there for each other. What I liked about yesterday is that with as far as we can, because you know it's an environment where we have to social distance. We have to be very careful.
Yes.
There are protocols in place, but we still wanted to be there for each other. So it was online that we met, and we went through that process. And it was in the corridors where we were social distance, but we still found time to remember Dennis and to speak about our meetings with him, our conversations, the whole unique things about him, and tears flowed freely.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing sometimes, to just let the tears flow and to just enjoy the memories.
Now, you and I would have walked into those hallowed halls, and though I taught you quite a bit, I'm sure Dennis taught you something too. Don't smile, don't laugh at me, Mr. Green. What is it do you think that you can now, as we head to the end of this interview, what is it that you think you can walk away saying, you know what? That's Dennis. What would that be?
Okay, well, first let me just tell you, now is not the time, but I'll tell others the real story about who taught who another time. But yeah, okay, so you know, we have this thing right now where, let's call it a particular focus, where we are saying in our industry, and you know, I have a lot of respect for you, Pearson, and those who work in the industry. And there are many of you at CBC who uphold the same values that we do at Starcom Network. And we agree that there's some things that we need to recapture. Standards is one of them. And when you think about Dennis and his meticulous preparation for anything that he had to do, it is something that we need to be able to never lose. We can't lose that level of preparation that Dennis brought to a task, whether it was hosting down to brass tacks or hosting a shift where he, of course, was very strong with his music, or it was an outside broadcast where he captured the description so beautifully. One of the things that he often talks about is describing when Obadiah Thompson was on his way back to Barbados and he landed that bronze medal, and describing that plane touching down the tarmac. And he enjoyed that experience. And I tell you this, you think about Dennis, you think that this is a loyal son of this country, and doing radio and broadcasting is just more than opening a microphone and putting words together or just calling words. It's being able to connect with people. How you do that? You prepare, and you try to understand who it is that you're speaking to and what are the things that they need to know. You're basically their eyes and you're basically their ears.
Yes.
And I think the ability that he gave to people to be able to interact, to listen well, and to get into spaces that other people can't. No, that may seem strange, but when it comes to radio, we can get into spaces, people's living room,
Yes.
people's kitchens, people's bedrooms even, you know,
Yes.
and we can speak to them and connect with them. Now, if you turned up as a stranger, you probably wouldn't get past the patio, or
That's
you wouldn't
right.
be able to go through the door. But radio allows us to do that in a special way. And I think Dennis captured those things, and people appreciated allowing him into those spaces because he spoke directly to them, and he captured those experiences in a special way. And those are some of the things that we think about as we continue with the memory of this great man. And, he spoke very often about family too. I want to take this time to send condolences to, his children, his son and his daughters, his siblings, to Joycelyn and all those who are mourning at this time. But his family, he spoke about his family. And that's why I say to you, Pearson, that Dennis wore his emotions on his sleeve. You know that he felt very passionate about his family, even in his workspace. And so these are the things that we take on, How can I connect with the people I love today? Because truly you don't know when it's going to be your last day.
Indeed. And so, yesterday, I know Starcom Network would have put out a number of images of Dennis, and one of them would have captured him performing. And so as I say, thank you to you, Anthony Green, station manager at Starcom Network, for sharing your memories and your moments of Dennis and recapturing for a lot of us some of the little intricacies of who he is. We also want to show his ability and his adeptness with playing of the guitar and singing. So thanks, Anthony. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Pearson. You have a good day as well.
Thank you. As we go to break, take a look at Dennis from another view.
The Holy Bible says, Mary's poor child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. While shepherds watch their flock by night and see a bright new shining star, and hear a choir sing, the music seemed to come from afar. Hark now, hear the angels sing, listen what they say, that man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 11 and a half minutes now to go to the hour of 7 o'clock. One of those who also intimately knew Dennis is Peter Aline, who works with us here at the CBC. She too would have been a part of his journey while he was here for just a couple of years. Peter joins us now. Peter, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Pearson. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
Yesterday was a rough day. It was a pensive day, introspective day. But listening to all of the tributes and so on, and thinking of the person that you knew, that sort of helped. But it's still strange, knowing that he's not here.
You would have interacted with Dennis while you were in advertising, in broadcasting, here at the CBC as well when he came, because you were part of his development here too. What for you would have been one of the most poignant moments with Dennis that you want to share with us today?
I think there was a moment when, because we used to share an office together, and I think we used that, talk about everything. And he would always give us stories and so on, memories of his time in Grenada and growing up and so on. And I used to tell him he's such a softie because, you know, tears would come to his eyes. He would get really emotional when he was sharing some of those stories. And also when talking about his children,
Yes.
you know, the love that he had for his children was something special. And I remember there was one Mother's Day when I wished him Happy Mother's Day because he always spoke of how he raised his first, you know, child, his daughter.
Yes.
And again, he would tear up in pride about how she was developing and things that she would have said to him and the chats they would have had as he tried to guide, you know. He was a softie.
Yeah, I know because I remember seeing those sides of him as well. You know, but when he came to CBC, he came to host the Morning Barbados show. And I know we've got some footage to show a little bit of Dennis in action at the CBC. What do you remember of those days of Dennis here at the CBC as host of Morning Barbados?
Excitement, you know, thrilled to bits that he was going to be part of this new exercise, something that hadn't, you know, been done. And they started at Simpson Motors. And, you know, I remember he and Carol and the others all huddled together with our general manager at the time, Melba. And, you know, she's standing watching them, you know, with a smile to see that it had all come together. And it was special. It was really special. And if you look at Dennis in any of the clips where he's interacting one-on-one, he's having fun, you know, because he enjoyed that. He enjoyed chatting with people and that one-on-one.
Indeed, and so we're watching some of the earlier interactions at the Simpson Motors showroom when Morning Barbados started, with Dennis being part of that pioneering moment at the time. And you're quite right, you know, the ability then to be able to move beyond just an interview into just having a conversation with an individual, though you knew what your objective was. And Dennis did it very, very skillfully. I remember myself having sat in several outside broadcasts, major outside broadcasts for the Starcom at the time, and us, you know, the level of preparation that he would have brought to the whole thing as we discussed what's happening with this calypso, for instance, you know, just being able to describe what's going on around us as well as we covered many out broadcasts. And that's a gem, that's a skill set that very, well, I shouldn't say very few because I don't want to diminish anyone else, but so few in our business are able to actually employ.
I think that one of the things that, you know, we all know he was passionate about music, you know, and he had a wonderful music library. But I mean, the thing that it was to the knowledge as well of knowing the background and the history of the music. And being in the internet at that time, you know, no thing you could just click and just put in somebody's name and a whole pile of information comes out. You used to have to read, you know, magazines, really follow them. And magazines came out like sometimes every quarter or things like that rather than monthly, and then they built. But, you know, so you really and truthfully, when you knew about music, it meant that you had researched and literally done the legwork and the eye work, you know, to find out about the music. But one of the things that Dennis and I both, you know, hold dear is our language and the ability to not necessarily use big words because, you know, you don't want to say things then that go over people's heads. But language, a root, a structure. There's grammar, and grammar has its rules. And, you know, so it was the love of the language as well that would always strike up a conversation, a discussion, and sometimes get really, really passionate about it. And when it came to, you know, announcers and so on, because I know that those terms are loosely used these days. You know, when you talk about a broadcaster, there's certain things that you have to achieve
Yes.
or, you know, to be called that.
Yes.
And so therefore it was that seems no longer to be, you know, the aspiration. We always seem to forget that the three things we have in our mandate is to inform, to entertain,
And
but also to educate.
Yes.
And that was something that he was, you know, very, very, very passionate about, that people would learn from what he said.
Right. One of your last working together moments would have been not the happiest of moments. So I want to reflect a little bit about that now, because how was it in preparing for those state funerals with Dennis by your side?
Would it be terrible if I said fun?
No,
Because,
I understand.
Okay. We are both planists. That's the term I like to use. You know, you have a plan, and so therefore, you know, we were researching, and he would have memories. I would have memories, but my memories wouldn't be his. So we would, you know, be scribbling down and so on, asking people about the individual. Um, and he also had memories that he shared with his interaction with Prime Minister Arthur at the time. And also I could share some of my memories of any interaction. And we both turned up, you know, with a pile of information that we had done homework on. And I'd made copies for him, and it turned out that he had done copies for me. And uh, and some of them held the same information. You could see the
Yes.
papers there on the table, you know, and his mind, his memory of things past and what would have led up to them was incredible. And what hurt so much yesterday and today is that it's not accessible anymore. That memory.
What do you think would be your lasting memory of Dennis?
A smile. When he sees you and you haven't seen each other for a long time because of lockdown and so on, you know, and there's a cheeky grin, I like to call it.
You see that face there on your screen?
Yeah, that cheeky grin. And not to hear Peter Linda Darling anymore, you know, because that's what he used to call me. I called him D. That's what I called him. And the last time we spoke was last week, not this weekend, the Sunday in front. Because I'm a producer. I've been trying to get him to come on to Face It and Fix It so that he could share with us his journey, you know, as a broadcaster, as a producer, of getting the correct and important information out there, and discuss the frustrations that we all feel. And he couldn't, and this was before actually even last Sunday, the previous Sunday. And he said, Peter darling, I'm floating. You know, right now I'm training new moderators and so on. but as soon as I get a moment, I promise. So about 2 weeks had passed. I said, wait a minute, I heard Dennis. So I called him again and I said, um, you're still floating? And he laughed. And he said, yeah, but as soon as I get an opening, I'll give you a buzz.
Yeah.
And there was one moment around my birthday. He sent a voice note that there may be tickets available for that new flight that was coming in. And he said that he can pass one on to me and the two of us can be in Amsterdam. I said Amsterdam is not ready for that.
Yes.
Not ready for us, but yeah.
Peter, it's so good that we can chuckle still at the end of it all. And I want to thank you for joining us this morning to share your memories, your very lasting memories of your D. And I hope that, you find the strength to carry on, as all of us have been finding moment by moment, day by day. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Pete.
You're welcome. And
You're very
welcome. And please stay safe, Pete. Okay?
Likewise.
Break down people's names to letters, I realize. It's terrible.
That's all right. We got it, girl. We got it. Take care now. All right. Morning Barbados continues right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
3 minutes after 7 o'clock, let's take a look at the news. Shane.
In your 7 a.m. headline news this morning, we hear that administering the COVID-19 vaccine to 5 to 11-year-olds here would be given the green light if a leading pediatrician has his way. Dr. Clyde Cave is confident the vaccine is safe for the young ones in this age group, judging from the success of the vaccination campaigns for the 12 to 18-year-olds. The Director of Medical Services at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital says the pros clearly outnumber the cons.
The safety of the vaccine, I think we are all reassured about. There was never really a concern of the younger children about the safety as much as the efficacy and the dose. Right. And worldwide, that seems to be being resolved. The Pfizer vaccine for the 12 to 18-year-olds has gone well in the rest of the world. Our experience here is it is also going well. But the big payoff from vaccinating children will be to allow them to safely return to school. And I think that the lack of face-to-face and social experience in classroom and in playground is something that we have tended to underestimate while we looked at death and serious illness. And also that we know that while children themselves may not be severely affected, they are infected and they're vectors that take this home. And then that puts all the other people who may be more vulnerable in the household, the aunties, the grannies, the diabetic relatives, just by using public transport for movement of children back and forth, there is going to be the potential for increased spread if there isn't that extra layer of vaccination protection.
And while Dr. Cave supports the move to vaccinate younger children, he doesn't mind a wait-and-see approach in this regard.
I think all things being equal and with no surprises, this is a good thing. One of the, I guess you can call it, advantages in that delay between when things happen in North America and when they percolate down to us is it gives us the opportunity to watch what happens there. And that vaccination of younger children in North America, US, Canada, wherever authorizes it and starts it, will allow us to look and to see if there are any concerns, whatever, before we actually get the vaccine and start to deliver it. So at the moment, to be honest, there are no major concerns that when the vaccine comes, there should be any problem with it. And I think it is certainly a very worthwhile strategy for us to actively work towards.
The death toll from COVID-19 here in Barbados has climbed to 167 as an additional 7 related deaths have been reported by local health authorities in the last 48 hours. 3 men and 4 women died between Tuesday and yesterday. The deceased are all Barbadians. 4 of them died on Tuesday. 2 women, ages 62 and 91, who were isolated at the Harrison Point and Queen's College isolation facilities, and 2 men, ages 72 and 81, who passed away while in isolation at the Blackman and Gollop and Queen's College isolation facilities. They were all unvaccinated. A 61-year-old fully vaccinated man and 2 women, ages 33 and 53, who were both unvaccinated, died at Harrison Point Isolation Facility yesterday. As a result, the number has risen to that 167. Meanwhile, 393 new COVID-19 cases were discovered by the Best dos Santos Public Health Lab after it conducted 1,966 tests on Tuesday. There were 168 males and 225 females in that number. And of this number, 88 were under the age of 18. There are now 797 people in isolation facilities across Barbados and 5,845 people in home isolation. Barbados and other small nations may soon have another COVID-19 vaccine to choose from. The World Health Organization has issued an emergency use listing for India's Covaxin vaccine against COVID-19. The United Nations Health Agency says the jab is extremely suitable for low and middle income countries due to the ease of storage requirements. And our CBC News production team is starting a new series tonight in celebration of the upcoming move to the Republic. It seeks to give clarity about the move while giving those in the diaspora a chance to add their voice to the discussions. The series is titled The Diaspora Speaks, the Barbados Republic. Barbados' Deputy High Commissioner is featured in it, and he's the Deputy High Commissioner for the UK, Reverend Charles Morris, and he puts the issue into perspective.
I don't think we should be asking the question why now. It's why not now? Because it is the time. It is time that we should be. You imagine others came and they got there and they set up their Republican system, this system of government before us, and we were the first that started. Okay? So it is necessary.
And that's our 7 a.m. headline news. I'm Shane Seeley. Back to you, Pearson.
It's now 9 minutes after 7. A break and we're back with more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 10 and a half past the hour. Time for you to call me now on 228-5562 or 228-5563 because here comes today's Crumbs question of the day. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What is today's Crumbs question of the day? That question is on your screen. It is, what are the colors in our national flag? Yeah. What are the colors in our national flag? You better get it right. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What are the colors in our national flag? 228-5562, 228-5563. Call me now and tell me what are the colors in our national flags. Good morning to you. Hello.
Good morning, Pearson.
Hi, good morning. And what's your answer, sir?
Blue, yellow, blue, gold, and black.
That's your final answer?
Yes, please.
Nope, you gotta go because that's not right at all, at all, at all. So keep going. 228-5562, 228. I know this is gonna trick all of you. 228-5562 or 228-5563. The question is, what are the colors in our national flag? You gotta know them. You have to know them. So 228-5562 or 63. What are the colors in our national flag? Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. What parish are you watching from?
St. Philip.
St. Philip. What's your answer for me?
Gold, black, and aquamarine.
Gold, black, and
aquamarine.
Wrong. Nope.
Wrong?
No. You get one try. You only get one bite at this bread. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What are the colors in our national flag? I know all of you scratch your heads, but Pearson, hold on. What the song says, I'm not interested in the song. I am not interested in the song. I want to know, what are the colors in our national flag? Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Is it blue?
No, don't answer yet. What parish are you watching from?
St. Michael.
St. Michael. What's your answer?
Blue, black, and yellow.
That's your final answer?
Yeah.
Wrong. Nope. You're laughing? No. Come, folks, come on. You see, and that just goes to show we've all been so familiar with what is the other ways that people express it, but we got to get it right. What are the colors in our national flag? 228-5562, 228-5563. The numbers to call. You're going to win something from Crumbs Bakery. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, what's the answer?
Blue, black, and gold.
Blue, black, and gold is not right. Not at all. You all get all these harsh buzzers. No. Come. Talk to me. Sure, you have somebody in your family who can help you, guide you for those of you adults. Maybe if you have a little younger one who might know, they might be able to answer us as well. Good morning. Hello. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, where are you calling from?
St. Michael.
And what's your answer?
Ultramarine, gold, and black.
You're positive about that?
Yeah,
What do you want me to say?
it's correct.
No. Oh, that's what you're hoping I would say.
Yeah.
You're really hopeful that I would actually say that to you this morning?
Yeah.
After you heard everything everybody else has said, you could come in on this phone and tell me what? Ultramarine, black, and gold? And you really expect me to say yes?
Yeah.
Where you get this answer from, Bo?
Is it correct?
Pardon me?
Is it correct or isn't it?
No, look at you, look, you're getting anxious. Slow down. Where did you get this answer from?
Because that's what I'm always hearing it is.
Madam?
Yes, sir.
Where did you get the answer from?
I heard it.
Oh, you heard, so you believe everything you hear. All right, Bo, fair enough. You know the sky is green. You believe that too?
No, I don't.
You just heard it.
I never heard that one.
And you're flat. And we could fall off. You heard that too. You mustn't always believe everything you hear, but you heard right. You're absolutely right. It is indeed gold, black, and ultramarine. Well done, Mr. Michael. You stay on the phone, and we'll get some more information from you. But she's right. It is gold, black, and note ultramarine. We say gold. We say blue, yellow, and black. Put it up. It is gold, black, and ultramarine, not aqua. Ultramarine. So now we know. Now we know. Thanks to Crumbs Bakery and our Crumbs question of the day. We'll take a break right here, and then we'll start to meet some very exceptional young people. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Alrighty then, let's get cracking by heading first to Guyana to meet this young lady who's now a part of the FemLet's cohort. Her name is Zoe Sills. She hails from Linden, Guyana. Good morning to you, Zoe.
Good morning, Mr. Pearson.
How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Listen, what does it mean to you to be a part of the FemLet's cohort?
Well, to be an ambassador for the FemLex cohort, I would describe it as nothing short of an absolute privilege. So far, the experience has been amazing. We have been exposed to so many things, and I am just proud to be a part of this bunch.
So who selected you? How did you become a part of the FemLet's cohort? Because there's so many female attorneys at law over the region, but yet there are only few who are part of this first cohort. How were you selected?
Well, this cohort used a peer selection process, so I would have been recommended by one of my peers to be a part of this batch.
Okay, so now you are a part. So how has it been thus far? Have you started, and how has it been thus far?
Yes, we started since the 29th of September, and I must say it has been amazing. We have learned so much. We have had both entrepreneurship sessions with the Barbados Youth Business Trust, and we have had legal luminary sessions featuring various legal luminaries, I guess I should say, or youth that we can truly learn from. We have learned about marketing, we have learned about accounting, we have learned about idea generation, we even learned about advocacy, and public speaking. Nothing short of amazing.
When you decided to read for the law and you know you wanted to be an attorney at law, did you see all of this be a part of what is required of you going forward?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I thought it would be a straight walk. I thought maybe the most I would get involved in is moot court, but this opportunity presented itself, and I was so excited. I couldn't say no.
So now that you're saying yes, are you hoping eventually one day to have your own law firm, and what's your overall plan coming out of this experience?
Well, I can't say that I plan to have my own law firm, but what I do want to do is to improve legal aid in Guyana. Over summer 2020, I would have volunteered with the Linden Legal Aid Clinic. And what I found is that they lack a lot of the resources that they need to give effective legal aid. And so what I truly wish to do is, once I become a lawyer, to assist the legal aid system and assist with case management especially.
Guyana is such a vast landmass. Linden is just a small part of it. In Region 10 is where you are. So you're just in one of the many regions. What's the scope for you to apply your trade as an attorney at law?
In Region 10?
Yes.
I must say it's not a very wide scope. Currently, there are only 3 practicing lawyers within Region number 10. Most lawyers go to Georgetown, which is the capital city, in Region number 4 to practice. So within Region number 10, there are not a lot of opportunities for legal practice and discourse, but I'm hoping that with changes in the system and improvements, we can change that.
How old are you now?
I'm currently 20 years old.
20 years, still very young, and there's so much life ahead of you because there's so much to do. And so I want to get a sense of who you are, if you don't mind. 20 years old, you've chosen the law, but you're also very much into assisting and volunteering on a farm pretty much nearby, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a bit we know about you. So what do you do for fun?
Mostly I hang out with my friends. We go different places, we go on adventures. We don't like to be inside too much. I mean, with the pandemic, we have been confined, but we try to make our own adventures. My town, Linden, it is known for its hills. So we would go explore various parts of the hills, explore any new places that have opened during the pandemic, try out various small businesses, and that's just what we do for fun.
And then small group of you decided you're going to have something called It's a Snack, the shop.
Right.
Aha. So therefore you're already into entrepreneurship. So talk to me about that particular endeavor. It's a snack.
Well, like the name suggests, it is a snack shop. We focus on providing various Creole dishes and local dishes, although we do want to expand in the future to provide more options that we don't usually see from various cuisines. So far it has been going really well. We have been learning so much. I know there is a lot of improvement we can make, but I think that we are doing good for I think we recently celebrated our first year in business, and we're doing good. And I'm just so happy that I'm learning so much in this program that I can apply to my small business experience.
Well done indeed. Is there any specific area of the law that you would want to focus on?
I am most interested in constitutional and administrative law, actually.
Why that? Why those areas?
I think that the Caribbean and Guyana especially has a lot of room for constitutional reform, and I know for the Guyanese especially that is a term that has been thrown around within the last 5 years without any major changes or significance. But when you start to study the Constitution, you study the laws, and you look at our legal systems, and especially when you compare it to what they call first world countries, you can see the differences. And I think that there is so much potential that our countries have for reform, and so much more that we can do through the Constitution to better our societies.
Wow, that's a powerful view that you have. I love it. So how many more years before you eventually graduate and become and be admitted to the bar?
Well, I have 1 more year at the University of Guyana where I'll get my Bachelor of Laws, and then I will have to do 2 years at a law school, whether Hugh Wooding or another, and then I can apply to be admitted to the bar.
Wow, so by 23, 24 years old, you will be an attorney at law. Well then. Our viewers overseas and in Barbados are already congratulating you. And we too here at Mornin Barbados really want to salute you. And that's why we reached across the seas to say to you today, Zoe Sills, that you are for us one of our exceptional Caribbean young people. Thank you so much for joining us. We only want to wish you the very best of success going forward. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Wow, isn't she inspiring? Very interesting indeed. 25 minutes after 7, a break, and when we come back, we'll meet more exceptional young people. 27 minutes after 7 o'clock. Question: do you know who owns Polished Nail Bar? Do you have any idea who owns Natural Beauty Solutions? I'm being serious. Do you know? I know. Her name is Shante Leacock, and she joins us now as one of our exceptional young people. Shante, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Pearson.
Congratulations on owning all of that. How does it feel to know that?
Thank
hey,
you.
You're welcome. How does it feel to know that, hey, I'm the owner? How does that make you feel?
Very great, actually.
You're only 21 years old and already you're owning your business. What was it that motivated you to do that, to own your own business?
Well, what inspired me was my cousin. She passed away when I was 8 years old, and we used to have these mini spa days, and I used to polish her nails, and just seeing her smile after was what motivated me, because I love that feeling. I love having satisfied customers. And outside of that, I always had a love for all things beauty, all things art. So I just fueled my passion into a business.
So from 8 years old, you knew beauty and making people feel good was what you wanted to do. And then eventually you went into the Alexandra School. And how was it while there? You know, because you knew what your passion is, you knew what your goal was. How was it while at Alexandra School that helped you to achieve what you've achieved thus far?
In secondary school, I really loved art, especially like tie-dye, textiles, anything hands-on. So I guess that's where the nails came in, because I would do like similar designs like what I did with tie-dye, and I would do those designs on the nails.
You know, you could have done it just for fun. You know, one friend comes over every Sunday, you all paint nails and so on. But you decided, we're looking at some of your beautiful artwork, but you decided, let me just take this a whole lot more seriously. Let's formalize this. Why did you choose to do it that way? And you saw it as business and no longer as one of those things that you wanted to do just for fun?
From an early age, I always knew that I wanted to own my own business. And like I said, I love all things beauty. And I guess my parents, my mother especially, inspired me because she's also an entrepreneur. So I guess it's in my blood.
All right, so we just started to see some of what you've been able to craft with your polished nail bar. And now we're also going to be taking a look very shortly at your natural beauty solutions, her natural beauty solutions. So how has business been going so far for you though?
Business has its ups and downs, but I can't complain because I love what I do. And I always tell myself my current situation is not my final destination, and I have so much more plans that I want to do with business. So I just try to keep myself pushing, going on.
So how do you deal with the downs? You said business has its ups and its downs. How do you as a young businesswoman deal with your downs?
Cry, to be honest, and then I pray.
Fair enough. For me, that's part of business too.
I have my days, but I learned that you have to put God first. So every morning, as soon as I get up, I pray of my business. I ask God for strength and vision. So every day, talk to God.
I love it. I love it. I love it indeed. So what's the long-term plan for your businesses?
The long-term plan, I would like to own my own salon. Because right now I'm just renting a station, but I would like to own my own salon and extend and add on some new services. And I just see myself going international.
I'd love it to happen for you, really. That's my desire for you as well. But getting the news out that you exist, because you know it's such a vast world. How have you been in terms of marketing and branding and all of those kinds of things? How has that been going for you?
I market using social media because you all know social media is the in thing now. So I use a lot of Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, just word of mouth. Word of mouth is the best promotion. So my clients, they will say, well, I really love my nails. And they will refer a friend and a friend will refer a friend. So that's how we got business coming in.
You can't go wrong with the word of mouth. But then I want to turn my attention now to her natural products. What natural products do you offer at the moment?
Right now I have 3 products: Detox Tea, hair growth oils, and cuticle oil.
So why those 3?
The idea for the business really came about for what worked for me because I tried a lot of beauty products and they were not working. I said, well, let me see what works for me. And then a few friends, I let them try it as well. And it was like, well, it's working for me too. So I just decided to make it into a business.
But you know, this business that you're in requires a little bit of science because you're putting
Yeah, I
together.
did a lot.
Yeah. Talk to me.
Her was in the making for a little over the year. And in that time, I was doing a lot of research and I officially launched it in April this year. So it was a lot of research and trial and testing before I actually put the products out there for sale.
Wow, you're doing very well so far. You have your own little station in town, and here we go. Your name, Chantel Leacock, will be emblazoned all over the world as another one of our successful young people. For anyone watching today who wants to get access to your nails, your polished nail bar, or your Her natural products, beauty products, how can we contact you?
I'm on Instagram at Polished Nail Bar 246 and at Her Natural Beauty Solutions. And you can contact me at 287-4623.
287-46, there it is on your screen, everybody, 287-4683, or you can go to Her Natural Beauty Solutions on Instagram and you can see, experience, make contact with, and enjoy. Chantel Leacock, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We've had you here because you are, for us, one of our exceptional young people. Only the very best for you going forward, okay?
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Chantel Leacock is her name. Her businesses are called Polished Nail Bar and Her Natural Beauty Solutions. Find her and find it. We're coming right back with more after this. 25 minutes now to go to 8 o'clock this exceptional Youth Thursday. Have you ever heard of Girls Skate Barbados? Have you ever? We'll learn a little bit about it now because the lady behind it is Jade Knowles. Jade, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson.
How are you doing this morning, Jade?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. What about you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. You know, I've never heard about Girls Skate Barbados. Tell me about
that's
it.
a shocker, but
Well, then talk
you
to
know.
me. Teach me about it.
All right, no problem. Okay, so Girls Skate Barbados was created to inspire, motivate, and educate girls who skate in Barbados.
Mhm.
Obviously, I've been skateboarding in Barbados for a very long time. This year will be 20 years. So I've just been the lone girl competitively. So I was like, you know, I need to do something about this. And that's when Girls Skate Barbados started in 2019.
So since 2019, have you seen more girls coming into the organization, Girls Skate Barbados?
Yeah, definitely. I would say we probably have about 50 plus girls that skate in Barbados now.
Well, that's fantastic because oftentimes you girls see skateboarding as, no, I'm not going to get any bruises on my skin, I can't break a nail, all of those kinds of things. And you would think that girls would shy away from that dangerous sport. So what kinds of ages have been a partner of Girls Skate Barbados?
Okay, well, the youngest I've had is 2 years old, and the eldest is 61. I'll give you a little backstory. So my mom is Mary Sayers, and I put her on a skateboard. She's actually a blind lady, and I believe that if she can do it, anyone is capable of doing it.
You're so right, because when you get on a skateboard, there's so much you have to surrender. and trust the process. Am I right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, because I'd stand out and I think right away I'm going to fall. But you were saying,
Yeah, but
tell me.
Well, that's the thing. Most of the time, when people get on a skateboard, the first thing they do is lean back, right? So if you get on and you lean back, you're just gonna go, the board's gonna shoot out, and you're obviously gonna fall.
So what do you do if I don't lean back? Where do I lean forward?
Yeah, you have to keep your weight slightly forward. So when you're ready, we can have a quick lesson.
All right, I hear you.
And I know I know you may be a bit apprehensive, right? But as long as you have on your safety equipment, you'll be fine. I promise you. I'm not gonna let you get hurt.
I'll take you to your word, okay? Now, tell me, you said how long have you been doing this now?
Well, Girls Skate Barbados started in 2019, but I've been skateboarding for 20 years.
So you've been skateboarding since you've been a baby?
Yeah, from 7.
Oh my
God. So if you do the math, then you'll know my age. There we go.
No, we've worked it all out. I see how clever I am to get it out of you. So you're 27 years old. So for 20 years you've been skateboarding. And what kinds of joys does skateboarding bring you?
Well, honestly, skateboarding has changed my life. I've gone through a lot of different things over the years. I've done numerous sports. I've represented Barbados in surfing, triathlons, but skateboarding is really what stuck with me, and it's what I'm more passionate about. I like that, you know, you do a trick, you get back up, you go again, and it's not just a sport, it's also an art form, and I think that's why it really resonated with me.
Oh, that's beautiful. And so you've been able to represent Barbados. When was this, and what was this about?
Well, I mean, as I said, I've been involved in many sports. So I did in surfing, I traveled to Jamaica, Trinidad, and then obviously I've competed in competitions here. For triathlons, I've competed in Grenada as well as in Barbados.
But as a skateboarder?
Yeah, but as a skateboarder, I went to Canada in 2019. That's where I got my skateboard certification. So that's a form of representing Barbados. So I went to numerous parks. Did an event with my friend Stephanie Batiste, who has, she does basically what I do in Canada. So there was that. And yeah, for me, it's about letting everybody know about Barbados. I think right now, since the Girls Skate started, there are people all the way in Australia, South Africa, just all over the world that now know that there are girls who actually skate in Barbados.
Oh, that's sweet. We were just sharing a little piece of a video because I wanted to find, there it is. This is at the Garfield Sobers Sports Complex?
Yeah, that's at the sports complex, and the name of the skate park is called the Kaitif Skate Park.
Okay, and how difficult or easy is it to be a part of the group? What do I need for entry? What do those girls out there need for entry? Yeah,
it's very simple. All you have to do is email girls.skate.barbados, or you can DM Girls Skate Barbados on Facebook or Instagram.
You know, watching those, they'll make it look so easy, so painless to do. You know, you can overcome your fear quite easily, it seems.
Yeah, but as I said, as long as you have the safety equipment and the right instruction, you're capable of doing anything, you know.
What kinds of depths to which you've skated? You know, because those slopes I just saw look rather gentle. So what kinds of slopes have you done? What kinds of gradients have you been on to skate?
Well, I've skated the bowl and the skate park. Obviously, I didn't grow up skating like the big ones, but I can drop in the big quarter.
What?
And yeah, I mean, I grew up more as a street skateboarder. So there are different types of skating. There's street, there's longboarding, and then there's park and vert, right? So, for me, like, you know, it's just understanding certain tricks and understanding the basics, and then you go from there. You have to remember that, you know, you start somewhere. It's just like learning how to ride a bike.
Yeah. So how do you have that conversation with mommy in particular? Who you say, mommy, you know, I'm into skateboarding. I want to be skateboarding. You know, you can't stop me. How did that conversation go?
No, I would say like my mom has always supported me. You know, growing up, I was a very shy child, and I think that's why my parents got me involved in a lot of sports. Like, I actually started roller skating when I was 3, and that's where the birth of skateboarding started.
So while skating and rollerblading and those kinds of things, you felt free, you felt open, you felt yourself and your whole personality grow. So for a parent watching today and who are saying, you know, I have a child who perhaps was like you, Jade, I want to get her broken out of her shell so she becomes a lot more social. Girls Skate Barbados is a wonderful avenue to do so.
Yeah, definitely, person. So they could just send me a message or an email, and I'd be happy to go forward with them.
So how many days, how many hours a week do you think that people have been? Look at this. Jade, where is this?
That's the same kind of skate park. So that's the bowl. That's actually Amy Godson. She's one of the upcoming girls right now. I think she has a very bright future ahead.
Yeah. No, that I'm not trying yet, but it looks quite interesting.
Well, you'll work your way to the bowl. You know, you don't want to be doing that when you first get to the skate park, and that's why I said you have to work your way up. Like once you understand the basics and you learn how to do the smaller obstacles, then you work your way to the bowl.
And then take that big plunge down and back up. But it looks quite interesting. I mean, to be able to defy gravity at points, you know, must be such a rewarding experience at the end of it all. And to say, look back and say, I did that, is what we're talking about here. So again, I was asking, how many days, how many hours in a particular week do you spend in training so that you keep your skill sets up?
Well, to be honest, I skateboard every day. I also train. I teach skateboarding every day. So I think I just haven't been able to train like as an athlete. But for me, it's more about focusing on the next generation.
All right, and I really hope that more of the next generation do see the benefit in this, because we can see the benefit in you, the ability to be able to come out of oneself and to try see something, see a challenge, face it head on, and just do it, because the joy at the end of it, having done it well and it succeeded, is tremendous. So once again, remind our young girls watching today, and our women, adult women too, can be a part of this, how we can find you and be a part of Girls Skate Barbados.
Okay, well, you can email girls.skate.barbados@gmail.com or Facebook or Instagram, Girls Skate Barbados.
Look at this girl here. She looks so cool.
Yeah, that's Jayla. Right. She's coming out. Yeah, that's the coffin going under the gate.
And to be so bold to sit on the board and just go under the... Now that I could do.
Okay, all right. I'll hold you to that one.
That we can do indeed. Jade Nichols, it sounds like such a wonderful venture that you're in. I really want to encourage everyone to get out there. Girls Skate Barbados. Find them on Instagram. Find them on social media, girl.skate.barbados. And enjoy, because the whole thing here is it is developmental. You can be a part of it. There are competitions in which you can engage internationally as well. So there are opportunities for development in that way too. But most of all, it changes the person. You saw how bold that little girl was. And perhaps she was a shy one when she started. But here it is. She now can, as Jade Nichols could as well. Jade, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is wonderful what you're doing. And I want to commend you on it and wish you only the very best going forward. And congratulations. You're now one of our exceptional young people.
Thanks a lot, person, and I hope to see you on a skateboard soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Thank you, Jade. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
All right, take care now. Bye-bye.
All right,
there it
you
is.
too, bye.
There it is. Look at that. It happens right here. And the locations that we were just sharing with you are just outside of your door, literally. So for those of you who are very interested in taking up the whole skill of skateboarding, contact Jade Nichols at girls.skate.barbados on your social media platforms and say, I'm interested, and sign up and be a part of it. She's going to teach you. She says she trains every single day. She teaches every single day. Just make the arrangement and become the professional we know that you have within you. We're coming back with more after this.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Remember, we're always on the lookout for exceptional young people in Barbados. If you know someone because they live in the same house of you, they live in the house next door to you, they live down the street from you, write to us and tell us about them. We'd love to be able to share with the world who are our exceptional young people. Remember, send that email to us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. MorninBarbados at cbc.bb. Just send us the email expressing your interest in young people. They tell me my man read the screen, so look, folks, read the screen. It's right there on your screen. That's our email address. So send it to us. We'd love to meet them, whoever they are. It doesn't matter the age. It does not matter the age. They don't have to be adult. They can be quite young, children. And we'd love to be able to share their talent as well. So thank you so much for giving some serious consideration to that call for more of our exceptional young people. So let's turn our attention now to this old scholar of the Coleridge and Paris School, Shira. Good morning to Shira Belgrave.
Good morning, how are you?
There's a real applause just went up for you here. That's my school, Shira. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm okay myself.
All right, I'm good. So here it is. You do filmmaking. You do a whole host of things. You're part of the Board House Productions team, and you're working with Stockton Miller. How has that been for you?
Well, the journey so far has been, I could say, very exciting. Learning film on set, because, you know, as I mentioned in the pre-write-up, my educational background is actually media and journalism. So working in film for me is something that is quite a little bit different, but it still falls into the same category as media, and that's where I find where I find my passion.
You could have done anything else, Shira. You could have done anything else in the world, but you chose this. What about it fascinates you so much?
I enjoy the art of storytelling, and again, to go back to my degree, the idea to you know, produce these works and we document them, whether it's written or video or audio. I enjoy the art of storytelling, and with movies and films and TV series, we have a chance to do that, and not only do it in a news-like fashion, but we get to use our imaginations and expand our minds to create things that, you know, the average person might just simply say, well, I had a dream, but we actually produce those things.
You said you like the art of storytelling. You could write a book. You said want to tell the story in film. You know, why not the book, but instead the film?
Well, I can say, Pearson, hopefully soon the book will be coming.
All right.
Stockton and I, we have some plans for some sci-fi novels in the future. So the book will be coming soon.
So would you have been one of those girls in school who was so imaginative? You know, you go like, listen, you're telling me lies, you know. But because you're so imaginative, that we did not quite see that you had the ability to be able to tell stories in different imaginative ways. Would they have described you like that?
I'm sure they would have. I spent a lot of time at CP in the art room, a lot of time on the four-farm block, staring onto the horizon over by Halos, over by the sea. I'm just imagining things, picturing different stories together in my head. Falling in love with literature in full form, reading these different books that we were given. You know, you just read the book, but for me, it was reading the book, feeling the places, smelling the scents, just feeling the entire atmosphere. So that foundation for me is kind of what led me into film, and then meeting Stockton Miller, who was an independent filmmaker, and a crew of one, it just kind of made sense that we merged those ideas together to create something.
Wow, that's so interesting. You see that four-farm block you were talking about overlooking Haywoods? I was one of the first students in that block when it was built. Wanted you to know that, sister. Why? And while at school, what books did you read that triggered your fascination with language and the facility with it?
Well, one was the West Indian poetry book. I found the poetry in there really fascinating, being able to kind of look at things written, you know, a while ago, but still relevant today. A book that really piqued my imagination, I could say, was The Chrysalis. I don't know if that's still on the syllabus now. That was a really interesting book to me. And one fun book that I think a lot of people in my age group would know is Animal Farm. That book had us all, you know, laughing and learning stuff. And you never realize how important and connected to history that book was. So doing more research, it kind of just opened my mind to want to tell some of these stories, whether it's novel or a film. It just kind of opened my imagination from then.
And then you went on to the Barbados Community College because you're taking this quite seriously, and while doing your media and journalism course there. And so you've taken up your camera, and because you do some filming, but you also do script writing and the like.
Right. So we work together. We work on our scripts. Script writing. I do photography also. I know that you guys may see my name pop up as directed by, but on Boardhouse Productions set, I kind of do a little bit of everything. So I work with the lights. I work with audio sometimes. Sometimes I'm doing photos, monitoring the camera. But that's all the skills and everything that I was able to learn from the community college, so that I could be able to operate around the set and not just be pigeonholed in playing one role.
You've been noted as the writer and director of a production called Visitors. Tell me about that.
The Visitors, that was actually an NCF 7-day film challenge that we did last year. I was at home, online school, and one of my instructors, Mrs. Cox, actually, she sent the poster into a group chat of all the students. And I saw the poster and I was like, this looks interesting. I sent the poster to Stockton, but lo and behold, he had already seen it. So we were already on the same mind frame that we wanted to do this. So we gathered a team together and we went forward and we looked at the NCF. They had some guidelines, some things that you had to include into the script. Stockton came up with the storyline. We put it together and then we just shot it in 7 days. And fortunately, our team, we were one of the 5 winners during that challenge last year.
Congratulations. As a director, though, what is it that you see? Because we see the finished product, and I can't begin to imagine, though, while on a set with everything that's going on around you, trying to follow the story plot, what is it that you see that makes directing so special and so unique?
For me, it's a bit of everything because of my ability to kind of, like I said, to know how to operate around the set. So when I know, okay, we want a particular lighting, I know, okay, I need to do this, I need it to feel this particular way. So I think a lot of directing for me, it comes off of a feeling. And for me, it's really important that, when we tell these stories in whatever fashion, whether it's sci-fi, drama, comedy, I like to stay close to human truths. I like to make sure we don't veer too off into too much of a fictional world for human behavior. So for me, I like to keep things a little bit dramatic with a lot of human interest. And because, again, I know the set, and we all work so well together, it's quite easy to just focus on directing when I have to.
Scope, because sometimes we don't quite see the full scope of the potential of a film industry here. What do you see that scope to be?
I believe that Barbados can have a very viable film industry. And hopefully, eventually, with these things that we're doing, other filmmakers here in Barbados, we can start to build upon that. I think one of the major challenges for us is obviously access. And not having access to certain things obviously would put us at, a little bit of a on the back burner when it comes to looking at the entertainment industry and regionally and internationally, because you want your product to go international. We all want to be part of the Netflixes, we want to be on Hulu, we all want these things. But I think that one thing that we can do is that if there are people out there listening right now and they're looking for Barbadian content, Barbadian films, from Barbadian actors, and you think about a set, but there's hairdressers there, there's barbers there, there's carpenters, people making the food. There are people running around picking this thing up and picking that thing up in order to make this whole production. So it's not just the actors, the finished product, it's an entire job and it can employ a lot of people. So if this is something that you're willing to see, you're hoping to see, films in Barbados, support us. It's one of the most important ways and powerful ways we have to support each other now is through social media. You can share a post, you can share it to your friends, your family, your page. You can like, when filmmakers are fundraising, you can donate, and whatever you donate helps. Sometimes even donating your time or your skill can help a set. It can help independent filmmakers. So I truly believe that eventually, if we all stay on course and we keep, our focus, I believe that we can have a viable film industry here.
So if anyone wants to already, who are watching today, say, this girl sounds so interesting, she sounds as if she really has her head on, but I want to see what she's done so far. Where can we go? Any space on the internet that we can go and find any look at your work?
Sure, you can visit Boardhouse Productions on YouTube, and you can see a host of work we've done there. You can watch the 6 Minutes documentary if you're interested in history. We've done some work with Eleanor Rice from the All Stars Calypso event. We also did a documentary with her. And very soon you'll be able to see a rock documentary that we're working on, and a comedy series that we have been officially set to produce with Mornin Barbados, known on social media as Bev. So there are a few projects coming down the pipeline. We have some work coming up with Di Brown also. Stotson Miller has another script. So there's some more work that you'll see. And for the, when you look at the YouTube page, you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see that our work has increased in quality and in standard, because every time we do something, we try to upgrade, we try to learn from our mistakes, and we try to make it better. So the next couple projects coming up, I hope that you guys will check them out, like, share, subscribe to Poorhouse Productions. You can also follow us on the Instagram there, and just look out for more work from us.
Well, Shira Belgrave, I am so immensely proud of it, not just because you went through a CP, but because you're doing such wonderful work. And I really want to commend you on all that you've been able to do thus far. We look forward to even more of your contributions. What you see, we want to be able to see as well. Shira Belgrave is her name. Note the name, folks. And so this morning for us, Shira, you are one of our exceptional young people. Continue being exceptional. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very
welcome.
much.
You're welcome. Oh, isn't it truly an inspiring Thursday? Thank you so much to Shira, and thank you too to all of our young people who would have joined us this morning. Remember, folks, and people are still talking about her, remember always, if you have any young people who you know, write to us and tell us. We're so grateful for it. So for my small production team of As Grant, my producer, Roel Ford, my technical director, Philip Hines, our sound engineer, and Tamisha Green in Master Control, I'm Pearson Boyne wishing you a wonderful today. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get